Yeah, I'm probably unmuted. So there you go, folks. Folks, Tuesday night, welcome aboard. Between the
Oh,
Rolls is live. Tonight we'll be discussing campaign longevity. So it should be an interesting show, to say the least. I can see my sound bar moving, so it looks like I haven't fucked that up. If you're new here, join us on Twitter at mhoboinc. The Philbar account is still in bad boy land, at least for a few more days. But I'm not taking it down, so fuck them.
wait.
Okay.
What do you mean the Phil Bar account's in Bad Boy Land
That's
Oh,
suspended.
I'm suspended for 7 days
on
and,
on
on Twitter.
Twitter?
Yeah, and this one was a bunch of shit. I was asked a specific question, and my answer was apparently flagged as harassment. No names were given. I just said I beat their ass. So Twitter's
That's all it
wrong, and
takes.
then kiss my ass. Oh, I've said plenty worse. Anyway, follow us, this show, at mhobo inc. You can hit us up at Gmail, that is, mhoboinc at gmail.com. You can also join our Twitter or our Discord account, tinyurl.com, mhoboinc Discord. Carol runs that, so you got to be nice to her, otherwise she'll boot your ass. If you want cool things like
No.
shirt, phone case,
Sweatshirt.
toilet paper, sweatshirt, women's undies, although that's a different site. The link is down below, so check that out. If you're in the mood for new math rocks, and who isn't, Carol's other set is currently being worked on.
Is it?
It's,
I'm getting desperate for it because my
the-
dice rolls have been shit.
Your dice are always shit. But
I'm
yes, they have been cast. They have not been clipped or sanded.
so excited.
I think there was a problem with the D20, so that might have to be remade.
Oh,
But go on over to Twitter at Pirate Dog Dice. Check them out. They are getting caught up, so maybe they'll make you a custom set. Although if this other order pans out, not for a couple months. And then,
nice.
of course, if your game stinks, unlike ours smells like success, try some Adventure Scents. 60 different scents. We here at Murder Hobo Inc. keep hoping for a 61st in our honor.
no. They
Not
need
you, not you.
not me. No, I'm saying it shouldn't be the 61st. We need to be the 69th.
Who's going to do the other 8?
I don't know. Someone's going to do the other first, but we need to be 69.
Because, well,
Nice.
We'll have to talk to
That's
them
right.
about that. They also make how to RPG with your cat, how to cook with your dice. They make the Shine system, so if you want to be a gooder writer than me, check that out. And they are in Kickstarter mode for their new Radiance system engine, so check that out. They have reached their goal, but hey, extend the goals. There's plenty to be had. That is at oddfishgames.com. So check them out. This is Between the Rolls, so let's introduce you to people. High left is David. David, start us out. Who are you?
Hi, I'm David. You might have seen me on our previous small campaign that we had called Cacophony. I played Zadar. I'm on the current every other Saturday campaign, Calamity. We have an A side and a B side. The A side I play Ingve. The B side I play Crow. And help Frank out with hosting Socium every once in a while and getting on here on Between the Rolls. I do work with Kevin on Game Night Heroes. There were a couple of podcasts that I was in for that, and otherwise I just monitor Twitter. So, usually retweeting stuff from Murder Hobo or just any discussion that we have about D&D. So, yeah, if you're interested in following me, you can follow me at DNDevious on Twitter.
Nicely done. Carol, you're up.
Hi, everyone. As you said, my name's Carol. I'm a longtime gamer, occasional GM, and commissioned mini painter. I have not been kicked off at Twitch. That bad place.
Yeah,
Because fuck them.
It's okay. They just won't pay you in a consistent manner, so.
So far they have. I do actually I've made a few bucks on it. I don't make it too often. But it's under muses_touch, which is also my Twitter handle. I paint minis 3 times a week on stream. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Times are on the thing. Let's see. I am part of the Socium Project. I got to host last time. That was fun.
That was fun.
And let's see. And as for what I do here game wise, I am on the Cred campaign, the best campaign on this entire channel. Which is Cthulhu Rises, Everyone Dies. I play Anja Yeager, my somewhat crazy half-elven ranger barbarian. Having a blast.
Best campaign, my arse.
Best campaign on this channel.
Fortunately for the rest of us, Cred is not running this Thursday.
Oh,
Instead,
please.
it is Episode 1, Pillars of Jocularity, our newest campaign. Saturday is a one-shot if the wife and I do not leave town. So if you're interested in doing the one-shot, hit us up at Gmail. Hobo Inc. Sunday, the Margoo guys will be back, I believe. They took a hiatus this past week. They have been in the Halfling Kingdom for 2.5 days over the course of almost 4 2-hour-long sessions, and they still can't figure out how they've been there that long. Craig
not
will
that
return
long.
a week from Thursday, and then Calamity a week from Saturday. So check that out. We got a lot of shows. We're 560 shows or something like that. We're brutal. We're brutal. And I, Adventures in Philbar, am publishing my 500th scenario this Friday. It is part of our 10th year anniversary. So
Prolific, man, prolific.
I write. It's all crap. It really, it's just really bad writing.
Doesn't matter.
But
You're
it's
right.
so much. But it's so much fun.
I am
It's
a
so much
monkey
fun
at
to
a
play.
typewriter. Now, we did play Cred and Calamity this past week. So let's go ahead and here's some recaps from those involved. Carol, start us off with a recap of what happened in Cred, the worst campaign
Bullshit.
TTRPG has ever seen.
Best campaign. Well, that's the best campaign on this channel. What the hell happened in Cred? I don't know. No, I'm kidding.
She plays. She doesn't watch.
No. Well, no, I don't watch myself. I just don't like watching myself.
Neither do we.
All right.
Frank said it, I didn't.
Frank watches all the time, so I'm not really sure what he's talking about. Probably just to make sure that the sound's working or whatever. But anyways, what happened? All right, so, what we thought was going to happen is at the beginning of the episode, or the end of the previous one, we ran into Jeremiah, who is the bodyguard of one of our ex-PCs, who unfortunately the player had to go off to grad school, couldn't play anymore.
And she's getting married.
She's getting married?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. That's awesome. So, anyways, her bodyguard, who the last time we saw him, he had been left, he had been brutalized by the ghouls or whatever, and who were taking his muscles out. He was using him as a food source. And we left him at Brand's hospital. Of course, Brand is gone. So he ran into him again. Now he is a ghoul.
There it is.
He's a ghoul, and he's insane. Obsessed with finding Cleo. Because in his past, you find out that he was like this promised one. And this position of guarding her and her family was a position of great honor. So he has it stuck in his mind that he needs to be protecting her and he needs to find her because he has no idea where she is. We don't know where she is either.
She's boning somebody in the inn.
No, we went to that inn and it's pretty much like a lot of the rest of the town, broken down, more or less abandoned, except for her room, which she decorated, and she clearly has been living there. But there was, let's see, I'm trying to remember. There was a lot that happened, and I don't want to give away everything. Watch the show. Watch the show. There was a lot of interesting stuff that happened. I said he's crazy. Originally, we were expecting to attack him. But then Kyle said, this is Call of Cthulhu. It shouldn't just be one fight after another. So he basically made him this person we actually could talk to him, or I could talk to him, because we have two PCs that never met him. because our cat never met him. And cat really can't talk to him anyways because I don't think he understands cat. And then Merrick, our rogue, I believe, came in after he left, essentially exited the party. And then Riley, who in the hell knows what he remembers or forgets? He may remember, he may not. I don't know. So being the only person who really actually could make a connection, I got to be the one to talk to him. And I managed to convince him that we need to go look for Cleo. So instead of fighting him, I sort of was using him as a bodyguard. Because we're in the middle of a town where pretty much everybody left over in the town wants to kill us, as we are the enemies. We saw our wanted posters for treason and probably 20 other heinous crimes sitting there. As we go along, though, we convinced him to go, and as we left, Riley, our warlock, has a vision from, I'm going to forget his patron. I forget his patron's name. That was, oh my God, it's something Sotha. I can't remember. I know he's about knowledge. He wants all the knowledge. And Riley had this vision about, you actually saw this like mountain of knowledge where all the knowledge is, and basically was running to it, and a tombstone, I believe, blocked his path. And he ran into it. And when he basically snapped out of the vision, he used to have scales and such. Well, they were gone. He looks now like a normal half elf, and all he can cast are cantrips and first level spells. He has been depowered because his patron is kind of mad he didn't find this book, a certain book, which I believe we now have found. Naturally, too little, too late. But we tracked her to the inn. It was the nicest in the town, and said, and I suck at remembering names, so I don't remember the name of it either. But we tracked her basically, that was the last place she was known, and we found that she was indeed staying there. We could smell her perfume, and we actually tracked her her path into this other room where there was this really creepy painting where we actually could see things moving. I thought maybe she was in it because we could see things like shadowy things moving in the painting. So why not to escape? That's a good place to escape. But no, it hid a secret door where the perfume smell, I think, kept going. And we walked in there, and it was I believe it was a round chamber, and there was a book, which we think might be the book that Riley is looking for. And something was about to spawn when he said game over. So fun session, no fighting, but it was a lot of interesting role play, and I had a ton of fun. So that was Cred.
As always, that was Cred episode 38, by the way. 38 sessions.
No, we've gotten this far with only one character dying. And
in spite of all your shitty rolls.
And, well, my shitty rolls are, of course...
No, all of your shitty rolls. You guys rolled more ones than 20s.
I think I rolled last session wasn't too bad. I actually changed up my dice a bit, so they didn't roll as bad. I think the session before I had 5 ones. Although I think DJ had a bunch of 20s to counteract all my ones. But in my case, my ones, all my bad rolls have led to my character having 2 insanities. And now I'm on, and problem is when you pick up insanities, when you interact with things that trigger them, you automatically get points of dread. Now, if you get 4 points of dread, then you have to make a save or you pick up another insanity. So we'll see what happens, but when I eventually pick a primal path, it's going to be the path of insanity. So I will be able to start leaning into that and using them more to my advantage. But yeah, that's where my bad dice rolls left me to insanity. DJ's led him to a dead character. Actually, the funny, ironic thing is Riley. Ernie wanted his character to actually fail all those insanity checks and start picking them up. And he, of course, actually succeeds on all his rolls. There's been very few wisdom saves he's failed. And that's not even one of his main saves. So go figure.
Nice. So check that out. Cred episode 38 is on YouTube, which is what you're watching us on now. Check it out. Like I said, 560 some shows, but you can figure it out. There's also a Cred playlist if you want to
cool.
specifically watch Cred.
Yeah, that's what you should do.
Well, so
Keep bumping our numbers up.
If you think D&D is Critical Role and Cred's great, just stick with those two things. You'll be wrong, but that's okay.
D&D is so much more than just those two things.
Calamity, episode 31 for the A side is up next. David, you were in there. Go ahead and explain how I nearly got to fucking kill Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah, that happened. Oh, man. 31 episodes already with Calamity. Now, is that 31 with A side?
Of the A side.
Of the A side.
So you haven't...
B sides.
I was going to say, so you haven't had that many because... Well, we've missed a few here and there, so...
We are 7 behind you on the primary, but we've got 13 on the B side.
Oh, wow.
We're a juggernaut.
That's great.
Yep.
Yeah, you're great.
So in Adventures in Cabela Land is basically what it was. Oh my God. It was quite the episode. So, I mean, unlike the other campaign, we usually have some kind of encounter or something like that almost every episode. So it's very rarely we don't. So anyway, Adventures in Cabela Land. Yeah, we decided to. The previous episode ended with us going inside. What turned out to be a Cabela's with our halflings sending us on a mission to get these rings or whatever for their kids. So,
hula hoops.
Turned out to be light up hula hoops. Yeah. So it's awesome. Anyway, so we made our side into Cabela's, worked our way because we determined that, hey, there might be stuff stored in the back. So we found our way to the storage area, the back room of Cabela's. And it was a labyrinth without the Henson characters and all that. We found all kinds of interesting objects. Anything from bird feed to dude wipes, which we're still looking for a bunch of dude wipes.
Marshmallow guns.
Marshmallow guns. That was the coolest thing that we found.
Fuck those things.
I went to the bargain cave section on Cabela's and downloaded. We
basically had a table to roll off of Frank's Cabela's.
I was going to say, I actually own a marshmallow crossbow. And then, but DJ took it and he shot me. But the thing kind of goes high, so he shot me right in the open eye.
Well, the question is going to be, do marshmallows survive the apocalypse so intact? So I think Dave's going to have to try one.
My guess is yes. They do.
I think so.
They absolutely do.
Spongy treat.
We haven't run into Twinkies yet, have we?
I say Twinkies must survive the apocalypse.
No, we haven't run into Twinkies yet.
They have not found any.
Anyway, we worked our way through Cabela's, toppling over a labyrinth of boxes, and it was just a dice roll to find what was in the boxes. All kinds of neat stuff. I think Jesse... I don't know. I can't remember exactly what Jesse found, but one of them was the dude wipes. So we got that. Anyway,
great.
We found a forklift, and Azari got his OSHA license or whatever for that. We were hoping he would back Kevin through the loading bay door or something like that, but no, that didn't pan out. So anyway, after we finish our investigation of the Cabela's, we work our way outside, and we find this strange place with consoles or boxes with lights and sounds and things like that. So our dumbasses wanted to go in and investigate, and it was basically Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, animatronics came alive. We were inside of Aladdin's
that's
castle.
Awesome.
So well,
not for them.
Wait,
no, not
wait.
for us.
Was there? Please tell me it was like a Chuck E. Cheese. You have an indoor, carousel and things. Did you have stuff like that, or is it just games and animatronics?
RoboCop.
We have RoboCop. We had what you
Magilla
kept calling
Gorilla.
Magilla Gorilla with a hammer coming after us. So
See, you
And
need
a
the
Roomba.
carousel.
and a
See,
Roomba.
but you need the carousel to have a fight on a carousel because we've done that. It's amazing.
Well, either way, this fight wasn't good. Yeah, Ingve ended up setting Magilla Gorilla on fire. So we got this animatronic gorilla fighting us that's on fire.
It's so awesome.
Sprinkler systems get set off. A Roomba comes out, nearly plows into all of us. RoboCop comes running up because some kind of alien invasion's going on, according to the arcade games.
Zur and the Kodan Armada.
Yeah, and mayhem ensued and all that. It ended up in a battle, and they ended up wild shaping into a cave bear, blocking most of everybody. But Kevin still managed to Tall is his character's name. Managed to get hit, and yeah, he went down. Yep, he was on a death save. So it wasn't for Ingve, turning him over, reviving him for a couple of hit points. Yeah, he failed his first death save. So,
well, and then the kicker was he's the one that destroyed the Magilla Gorilla. Mm-hmm. And as I do frequently, if you're going to topple over something, there's a chance that it's going to fall on you. And unbeknownst to me, he was way low on hit points. So when he rolled, had he rolled poorly, it would have toppled over on top of him, and that would have been it, because that would have done some damage.
Yeah, that would have been massive damage.
Fucking dead.
Well, could I have assisted him since I was a cave bear and initially
if it falls on top of him, it's going to do damage, and he's already failed one death save.
Wow.
Coup de grace.
No, that's not an attack.
So anyway.
Yeah, he would have been a 2 because it has to be a melee attack that does the auto crit.
Well,
it was going to be the hammer.
It was going to be the hammer.
It can't be an auto crit with it's going to have an attack roll.
So we finished up our encounters in Aladdin's castle. We end up prevailing over RoboCop, prevailing over Magilla Gorilla. And like I said, it was like 5 Nights at Freddy's, and it's culminated with us just hearing this screech-like roar outside. So chances are we probably woke up the dragon. So that's what it's looking like. So anyway, that is episode 31. Hopefully I didn't spoil too much, but check it out. It's still a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I mean, playing with Jesse, Kevin, and man, it's just
not Rob.
awesome.
Rob's a dick.
Rob's
you all
I was brain farting because I wanted to call Rob Dave, and it's just like, no, I'm Dave. So that But anyway,
that's
Rob.
not confusing at all.
Not
Tell
confusing at all. So,
Dave, yes.
But yeah, 31 episodes for Calamity A side, 13 for the B side. Both of those also have playlists. So I've been trying to make sure that we do the playlist for everything. I think we even have one for Socium. So if there's a specific setting that you like, don't waste your time scrolling through everything. Just go to the playlist and check it out. And if I've fucked it up, let me know. If by chance I've missed an episode, you let me know, and I'll go ahead and get it corrected. But, we've got Sedalis, we've got Cacophony, we've got Cred, we've got Calamity, we have Margoo, which is, I think, over 60 episodes.
It's long, because you did that before you started Murder Hobo.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of content, folks, and some of it is even good. As long as you don't go to the Cred playlist, you'll find a lot of good stuff.
Oh, bullshit. Cred is, the funny thing is, I'm thinking about his comment about how you pretty much have a fighter. That's just the style of GMing. I also think it's the style of the game because Cthulhu, there's a lot more, it's a horror campaign. So a lot of that is in the suspense and the investigation and the stuff that's not necessarily fighting. So I think by its nature that helps. But I think this is where a 2-hour time slot does make it tougher, because with 4 hours, we actually can do both. Like I have a GM that literally in our 4-hour game, he tries to actually do both, have some role play stuff and have a fight, or maybe even two, in that time period.
Well,
Well,
And
that's our topic for
it's
Yeah.
just
campaigns.
it's campaigns. So it's not really part of the topic. That's more of an individual session time. But
Now keep in mind, anytime we go to Cathaway, you will always meet somebody weird, and you will always fight something weird. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
love it.
But you're right,
I
though.
love Cathaway.
yeah, you're absolutely right. It is a DMing preference. It's a DMing style. So as always, folks, if you don't like the game you're in, get out. Or
Yeah.
talk to everybody, but if it doesn't change, get out, find a game that you like. If you
Right.
don't like us, go find another podcast that you like. Don't stick around in a bad situation. So
There's a zillion of them out
that
there.
ain't
So
no
many
shit.
DMs
None of them
out
are as
there.
good as us, though. But
Yeah,
so-
not even that Critical Role one.
Yeah, well, he goes on for 4.5 hours. So Jesus, and that's his job. This is not our job. We do this out of
Nah.
love.
Right.
Just like Adventures in Philbar. If it ever becomes a job, fuck it. I'm done putting it out. And Carol, this one's for you. Our 500th published adventure, Hot Air.
Wait,
Air,
really?
yeah.
Yep.
That's one of the best. That was to me one of the best episodes on this channel. Was Hot Air. It
Yeah.
just so much. Speaking of my bad dice rolls,
Yeah.
that's a legendary thing. And it said if you do pirates, I want to bring Captain Roosevelt. So bad.
I decided a long time ago because I always do the annual schedule early on. But yes, Hot Air was our 113th episode.
Oh my God, watch it.
And it was in Cacophony. There were 3 paths they could have taken. They chose one of the path. If you want to see what the other 2 are, check out Friday Adventures in Philbar. Because hell, they had a shot at a dragon.
I didn't friggin' realize you hadn't published that
We
yet.
also could have went out to sea, and
Yeah.
that was it too.
We could have got to see. Yeah, I remember. That's right. We ended up in the hot air balloon option. Honestly, seriously, watch it. That was such an amazing episode.
Mostly because her face got smashed. and
Rose
she
is
managed
a
to put out
legend.
eyes. So yeah, it was one of our top 5 shows, and it's just a great overall adventure.
Shit.
And that will be available this Friday as always. So tonight we're talking about campaign lifespans. I just pointed out we've had a few campaigns on here. Some are still going, some have finished, some have just started. So the 3 of us are all DMs with a lot of experience, so that's what we're going to discuss tonight. Earlier, we had a poll. It was a short poll because I didn't think of it in time, but it's very scientific on the Twitter channel. And I put the question to our followers. In a 4-hour, the session is 4 hours long, do you have 1 to 10 episodes, 11 to 20, or 21 and above? 80% of you said 21 and above. So you're looking at 80 plus hours of adventure time for a big campaign. And we're going to go ahead and discuss long epic campaigns versus short campaigns because both have their place. But the questions for you guys, and we'll go ahead and start with David, is what do you think is a good time frame? How many hours do you want to put in for a campaign as a DM and as a player?
As a player, I'm open. I mean, as long as the story's compelling, I mean, I'll write it to the end, no matter how long it is. But I mean, to actually put a number on it, I don't know. I think I'd have to agree somewhere to maybe 30 hours or something like that. So,
Okay.
No, 30 hours is not that long.
Well, I'm talking about, I used to DM for kids, and, the max that we could play is 2 hours and stuff like that.
Right,
So that's a pretty long time for kids, especially when they have school and stuff like that. So, but, and keeping a group together. So,
I mean, that's 15 sessions.
yeah, but
15 hours.
that is
That's a kid's
the campaign
time
itself.
That's a kid. Yeah, that's a kid. That's fine for a kid. But
Yeah, and
you though,
And in that time frame, you also throw in one shots and stuff like that too when people can't show up. So that's the main thing. It also depends on scheduling and whatever that'll kind of make a campaign either longer or shorter. Because life happens. But I'd have to say maybe 30 to 40 hours or something like that for a long campaign. For a short campaign, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 hours or something like that. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Carol, same question.
Oh, hell of a lot longer. For a campaign that all of my long campaigns that go to like, God, somewhere levels 14, 15, 16. I mean, we've played, usually I'm playing for years. Skull and Shackles, I think I think Rise of the Lords is about 3 years. And so every other week. So call that a year. How many is that? There's 52 weeks in a year. Half
26
that. So
half.
100, call it 150 sessions, 4 hours apiece. So do the math there. So it's like
that
300.
is extremely long. Carol.
That's a normal AP in Pathfinder. Skull and Shackles and Rise of the Lords were both about the same time, and it's levels 1 to 15, 16, somewhere in there. I don't think Skull and Shackles was quite as long. Plus, also we role play. There's a lot of things that are going to help define that. If you got a table full of role players, you're gonna want to role play, and you're not going to just. It's not going to just be hitting those plot points. It's going to be, people are going to be discussing their characters and such, and what they're doing, and the great campaigns to me take on a life of their own. They get beyond what is written in that guide. The best ones feel like they're personal, not like it's a pre-published campaign. So yeah, I think we're probably about 3 years on each of those campaigns. We're about to wrap up Skull and Shackles.
Now,
It'll be free.
now you bring up an interesting point. Since you guys will role play a lot, I agree that does go ahead and add time. Here's the question, though. Are your campaigns, David then Carol, are you using Milestone or are you using Rules as Written and eking out those
what?
for
Points.
Experience points to rise
yeah.
in levels?
Go ahead, David. You first.
I use milestone with the kids because one of the things that I use a lot is the rule of cool, and I kind of keep like a running tally on how many rules of cool, how many times the rule of cool was applied, within a certain time span with these guys. And what I mean rule of cool, something absolutely cool and almost game changing. And I base their experience on that. So if I get enough of them within a period of time, I'll kick them up a level after that, kind of as a reward for doing that. Now, one of the things I wanted to say for with kids is just that their attention span's only good for so long. So one of the things, a lot of times I had 1 or 2 campaigns running at the same time. So, but yeah, so I would use Milestone with the kids. Kids really like that because points, that gets hard. And that gets hard with kids, trying to assign points for things that they kill and stuff like that. Because with the kids, all they want to do is kill stuff. They're not into the role play that
Right.
much. They just want to roll dice, kill stuff, and get loot. That's so that's why I use Milestone.
I think as you get older, you become more of a role player.
Definitely. For sure.
Because your fun changes. I want to kill everything under the sun. I've killed everything under the sun. You know what? I want to charm the socks off this vicar to see if I can get the church's gold. So
actually,
go ahead.
I was gonna say case in point. One of the reasons why actually I like the direction we went with in that last episode of Cred was that I was able to talk to what could have been the bad guy fight, and I managed to talk him into I don't believe I made any rolls either. I think we just rolled with it. And I think that's one of the neat things about the role playing side of it is the fact that you can rely on more of your own words and your own suggestions of what to do and less on the dice, less on chance, more on your own skills. I kind of like that. So
Yeah. Well, we went to Milestone in my home campaign, and we've been going for about 3 years. And we were doing
That's
points
fresh.
at first. And the problem was is that we role played so much, like Frank was saying. I mean, we ended up building enterprises,
Yeah.
businesses, and things like that. So it's just like, how do you put experience points on things like that? So it
Well,
became milestones after that, linked to story arcs for our personal characters and stuff like that. So, like, we're trying to find parents, so like we finished that to, culminates in fighting a foe and rescuing parents and stuff like that. And next
Did
thing you
it
know,
culminate
boom.
after 11 minutes?
Yeah, exactly.
ah, no,
So,
that's a good point.
yeah, so it's things like that that we use to assign a level up, depending on that. And man, for 3 years now, we're up to level 17, and it's getting hard for the DM to find stuff for us to kill. So that's why it's
4,600 kobolds.
Mhm.
Well, that's when you wrap up everyone's personal stories and then start a new campaign when you start running out
Yeah,
of things
but
to do.
that isn't going to happen. So one of the things, so like we said, we just leave it to personal life milestones is what we're pretty much doing. So
Carol, same question. Milestone
Say,
or numbers?
I think actually, I think the answer these days is Milestone. I don't know of too many GMs who go by any other system than Milestone. I think it's the easiest one to deal with. You keep everyone on the same level. You go back when I first started playing because it was 2E, it was all experience points. And that was back in the day when fighters had a hell of a lot more experience needed to go up a level than everyone else. So we start having levels that were going up at different levels. Now, great. Also, no, fighters would get it for things they kill, and you get bonuses and such. But that's like convoluted, difficult, and it's needless. I think milestone is the way to go today. All my campaigns have been milestone lately. I haven't had a campaign that hasn't been milestone in I don't know how many years, quite a few
Advent
years.
Adventure League is where experience points really come into
Nope,
play.
not anymore.
Uh,
Eventually, in fact, here AL actually totally changed. Now you can level up after every single game. You can level up when you want to. It's literally you could literally play one scenario and level up, and play one scenario and level up.
right, right.
There's no experience anymore.
Okay.
Pathfinder's the closest thing to that, actually. The Paizo organized play, but experience is only like 3 points. You get it for the scenarios you finish. So you get like 3 points or 4 points a scenario. When you hit 12, you go up a level. But I
Oh,
mean,
it's
that's
been a
basically,
while.
yeah, it's basically AL changed. AL used to have like you had to actually it was also scenario based. You had to complete so many before you could go up. Now you complete one, you can go up. It's your choice.
Well, it's only been what
No.
9 months since we could really play in person. So yeah, I was a
Yeah,
little out of touch when it came to Adventure League.
yeah.
Haven't been to Adventure League in a while.
I
So
don't do a lot, but I just play Hand of Bane stuff. Actually, is pretty much the only AL stuff I do. I do all FISA stuff.
but
Now,
anyway,
That
now,
other game, you know.
now, one of the other things, I think it was David brought it up, scheduling. Uh,
Hmm.
if you're going to have a session, and I'll use Margoo as an example because AJ has had a lot of family events this summer. So AJ's only been about every other episode, and that can get a little taxing. But for the way I run it, it's okay. I will say, this is the big bad. If everybody's here, this is how many hit points they have. If not, then it goes down. So I think you kind of have to take that into account at some point in time, because just like this Saturday, I don't know if I'll be able to do the one shot. But if it were a campaign, I might have to screw over the players, and that's why we did Calamity B. So that's kind of nice. Now, I think so far we've focused on the long campaign, the epic, the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit, blah blah blah. Let's talk a short campaign. I think David threw out 10 hours. Is that what you're saying?
No, I said about 20 hours, so 2 hours piece, 10 episodes or something like that.
10 episodes. So, what do you think? What do you think the advantage to having a short campaign is? I'll start with David again.
Well, like I said, attention spans, and it just comes from like player ADD, and I'm not talking about the disorder. I'm talking about just the ability to focus on a character for so long without losing interest and yearning to play something else. So we had that. That's to combat that. That's why we had like 2 different campaigns going at the same time. But it worked out. About 10 2-hour sessions and stuff like that. That seemed to work the best for us. So.
Carol, yay or nay on that?
I don't know. Wait, yay and nay on what? Because I feel like there's two
short
different
campaigns.
questions.
The short campaign, the advantage and disadvantage.
Oh, okay. That's not yay or nay. That's to me, yay or nay means yes or no. To me, the advantage of a short, now that's the thing. I typically have run fairly short campaigns. It's more, I feel like they're more streamlined, they're more directed. You don't have to think about 20 threads that your characters could pull when you're trying to direct them down. Really, you almost got to railroad it, I think, with a shorter campaign.
That was going to be the keyword I was going to mention.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing of it is, like, basically, but railroading where it doesn't feel like railroading. Basically, you just keep putting out that plot hook on the fishing line and reeling it in, and you're going through the events that you want to hit. And although players knowing that's a shorter campaign are going to probably be more okay with that too, and less likely to go off the rails, knowing that you're just playing this one little story. So, I said it's fine. I said I like them because there's a lot less I have to necessarily think about. Like a long campaign, you tend to have to think a little more worldly. I think especially if it's one you're creating. If it's one that is pre-published, that's a little different. Everything's there for you. But even then, your players can still send that off. And your players can send anything off the rails. I mean, after all, how many times have we sent one-shots off the rails on this channel?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean...
almost every time.
But I still feel like with something like that that's maybe a little more it kind of has to be a little more streamlined. You're basically playing out probably a single arc, a single storyline, rather than having a bunch come in. And there isn't going to be a lot of time for huge amounts of character development, playing with backstories either. It's just a little more. It's more streamlined. It's just going through and basically playing out a story, a simple story.
Well,
if that makes any sense.
Yep.
Here's something that that might help with determining how easy it is to run a short campaign versus a long campaign. Dungeons and Dragons have campaigns already made, like Out of the Abyss, Curse of Strahd, and stuff like that.
I wouldn't call Curse of Strahd is not short.
I'm saying it's a campaign.
Yeah.
So how many hours or that it takes to finish Curse of Strahd or Out of the Abyss and stuff like that? I've had sessions like that, and I usually finish those up in, I don't know, between 10 and 15 sessions or something like that if I stretch it out. So
First of Strahd is a lot more than 10 to 15
Well,
sessions.
I mean, we were playing
we played for that
sessions at a time. So.
Yes. We start at 4, we end up about 7:30, 8 o'clock. So, if I was on here, 7:30. Um, no, I think Curse of Strahd was about a year.
Yeah.
I think I don't remember. It was the one before. We're doing Rime of the Frost Maiden right now.
Yeah.
That is not a short campaign though.
But what
Oh,
I'm
that's
saying
about the
is
same length.
that the burden of having to come up with content
Right, right,
to
right.
make your own campaign. Yeah, the
That's
modules are great for that, like Radiant Citadel and stuff like that. Those are amazing, and they got great stuff in it. So
that I did. Yeah, I said that when you're doing a really good dealing with a pre-published campaign, you don't have to really, you're not really pulling a
right,
lot in. But when you're making up your own for a long-term campaign, then I think the best ones are when it's a sandbox the players and yourself can play in.
yeah,
But
I,
I just feel like it's a little more streamlined. You do I feel like there's with a shorter campaign, you don't have as much time either to deal with character backstories and such, and maybe don't have them.
well, and one of the reasons I
Play the
asked
story.
this was with Cacophony, and for those of you who've watched the show a while, you realize that there was a vast discrepancy. Was Cacophony actually a campaign, or and the regular producer is yelling in the other room, uh, or was it a collection of adventures? Now, clearly, one can argue that well, if you're going to do 8 adventures, then that's kind of a campaign. Being an old school guy, I would say no, because if you play any of the old school let's say B2, keep on the Borderlands.
mhm,
Jesus, you could spend a year doing that thing. And it was only like 28 pages. And, fun fact, it was designed for 9 players. Uh,
yeah,
Jeez,
right on the cover, 9 players.
that's
Uh,
a lot of players.
so, so with Cacophony, it was never meant to become a campaign.
mhm.
And honestly, we stitched enough things together. I mean, David, how long did you guys spend cleaning out the Cloud Giants mansion?
I think 3 episodes.
Yeah. So,
So
and one could argue that, well, that they had to go to Frecklin. Well, maybe not. And even with the last scenario, arriving subsequently in Menace, after visiting the gnome homeland for a fucking month, you know, I would consider those at best to be short campaigns.
yeah,
Just because you're going to arrive in Nathian on the way to Menace. So,
right. But
and,
Cacophony as a whole could be like if you wrote all the episodes up of Cacophony and just published it as it is. I mean, you'd have enough for a campaign.
I think
It's
I
basically
think
what I'm saying.
yep.
I will totally interject that it's campaign because you're telling those to me campaigns are where you tell the character stories. You may be playing the story you're throwing, but ultimately it is your character's story. And as long as that story just keeps on going from point A, whatever little path you go, it's to me it's still a campaign. It's one
Well,
campaign.
it
It's
evolved
got a
from
lot of different little plots.
right.
It's still one campaign. It's still your
Yeah,
character's growth and develop. See, maybe I think more as a role
it
player, but
evolved into that. I mean, Frank will tell you he created
great.
it for me and Carrie so we could play.
Yeah,
That's
no,
why Cacophony was created.
and I
So
and I mean, with you and Carrie, I mean, it made sense that it did grow into. You guys really did a good job, and with your character development stuff. I do feel like we followed those characters, and that was their story.
And see,
To me, it's a campaign.
I would say Lord of the Rings. That's a
mhm,
campaign. You're
okay.
off to fight this big bad guy and destroy the ring. You have a goal. With Cacophony, it was I'm going to go help uh, liberate the Tower of the Kurd. And honestly, when we were doing it, I thought, okay, this is the one you guys chose because they got to speak with all the world leaders. Once the Tower of Kurd is liberated, that's it. And then there was still an interest, so then they wanted to go to Frecklin. Okay, you go to Frecklin. You can nearly die of fucking starvation and the weather.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, they got to meet the leader that Camille had a crush on, and then she found out he had 8 other fucking wives, and that pissed her off. So then they went to the Grand Academy to run into Mortimer. Well, then Mortimer got sick. Okay, so then we move along. So there's always going to be that character development.
Right.
But I don't think we set out in Cacophony and said, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to free the land of Katang. That's your big goal. Because until Mortimer got sick and they went to Nathian, Katang wasn't even on the board. So,
You know what though? I played an entire campaign where basically we didn't have any plans. It was a total sandbox. Best, all right. Well, maybe now the second best because I think Skull and Shackles might have bumped that off. But it was the best campaign for years in my mind that we've ever played. And it was literally like week to week. We would do stuff, and then the GM would come up with what we're doing next, and it was incredible. And I would consider that a campaign. It wasn't a whole bunch of little side plots. It still was one big story. We did not have a goal. We just sort of fucked around.
and that's what Margoo does. So
Yeah, exactly. And to me, campaign. It said to me like a bunch of little. I mean, even critical role. If you ever actually look at the breakdown, Dave will probably know what I'm talking about here. They don't like oftentimes the end camp at bosses. There's like 3 or 4 different plot arcs through their campaigns. You know, like you had that have nothing, like the Unchained Oblivion had nothing to do with the city there that they ended up in. That was 2 different distinct blocks. You know, it was just like they sort of did that and finished that, and then they went on to this next one. So, I mean, but they still call it all one campaign because to me, it's still about those characters and their story.
And you went through the Sedelis campaign, and
Yep.
that was nothing from when I plotted it at
No,
session
because
0. Not
you
even
kept-
close.
Well, you did keep changing it, but also I think you kind of had to change it because the players kept sending your plans off the rails.
Well, when you kill everybody who's trying to help you,
That's the problem with, calling this murder hobo wink is the fact that you really do have a bunch of murder hobos that played that campaign.
but the first session we're like, okay, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to have this epic quest? Oh yeah, let's do the epic quest, blah blah blah. And boom, right into it. It's like murder hobo, and it's like, I can do that. I don't mind. But if I gear up for, okay, let's Lord of the Rings this shit, and all of a sudden it turns into Bugs Bunny.
Well, the one thing is, at least you know it's me, that you can definitely Lord of the Rings of this shit. So, I'm not. I tend to be definitely more of a straight shot who likes to play heroic characters rather than a bunch of fucking.
But if the
chaotic
rest of your
murder
party
hobos.
isn't,
Taryn tried so hard, and I think maybe we gotta kind of get things on track there. We did save the world.
true.
We ultimately did save the world. We did put evil back in the box after they freaking released it. Mm-hmm. That box that did not get destroyed in Cacophony, but then could get destroyed in Cacophony because we're 100 years in the future.
Yeah. I went back in time for that one.
So I knew you weren't destroying that box because I'm like, it's going to show up.
Well, it was damn near impossible to destroy it. But, like I said, if we ever pick up where the Sedelis characters ended, there will be a reason.
You talk about the length of your campaign. Mm-hmm. This is why I keep harping on you. Like, I want to go back to it because I feel like a good campaign comes to an end when there's really all the unfinished business has been dealt with. And I feel like there's unfinished business that the Sedelis group had. I mean, obviously, what do we do with the box? Just the thought of playing a character that's missing a leg kind of friggin' would be cool. You know, who friggin' set Taryn up? I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure also Kyle's character had some unfinished business too.
Yeah, and Kyle wanted to kill the other savior
Right.
of the city.
Right. I mean, things like that. I feel like we had unfinished business, and that's why I was actually really kind of sad that one ended when it did.
David,
So come on, Frank. Come on,
David,
Frank,
what'd you
bring
think
it
about
back.
the ending of Cacophony?
I enjoyed it. I thought
That
it was
certainly put everything in its place.
Did you have any unfinished business that you left on the table?
no, because I didn't know where this was going to go. Like I said, we started off as just a series of one shots, so and it just kind of developed. I mean,
It's
if anything,
beautiful.
I don't know. The secret of Mortimer J. Sneed, was he a god or not? That's the thing. Is he like Fizbin?
I'm going with he was something, but he died, right?
How many times did Fizbin
or
die?
did he die? I don't know.
They buried him. They burned his body.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I don't know.
His
Just could be an avatar.
Maybe somewhere.
Well, if you go back in time, you'll find him.
That's back
that's
in
the thing.
time. That's not
That's
the
what I'm
same
gonna say.
thing.
We wrapped it up pretty well, and one of the things is that we left it open.
Did he regenerate? Did he really regenerate? I mean, is that what happened? Does he have
burned his body.
Yeah,
he can't regenerate.
His body's
damn it.
gone. So, but here's the caveat.
That's kind of definitive.
No, it's not.
Really?
If he's a deity, that's just his mortal shell. And if this is not his prime plane, it's just like killing Loth.
That's right. Or any demon or devil, they pop back.
And the way Frank ended it is just like every so often out of the corner of Zadar's eye, Zadar swears it's Mortimer somewhere.
I will say this. I think that's a good mystery to leave a mystery. I think that may be unfinished business, but in this case, that's a good one to leave.
The unfinished business that we have is Zadar still has the time travel medallion and the cure for the sickness, so just leaves it wide open. So
is it? I was going to say, well, I don't know if that having the time travel medallion probably isn't necessarily unfinished business, but having the cure for the sickness and not actually delivering it. Oh, it was the time sickness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we have the cure for that now. So
and lycanthropy.
And
lycanthropy.
No, I'm not a lycanthrope. So remember, I rolled on that. And,
so yeah, we try to wrap it up, but again, I always like to leave the door open, just because maybe fucking campaign's screwed, but I can get these guys. What happened? What happened after they took the Human Torches down?
That's what I mean. I think especially in that one, I feel like there's so much more we could do.
Yeah.
There's always more that you can do. I mean, Zadar and Camille are both 10th level. They can cross the broad sea and see what there is.
I just feel like there's so much unfinished
we could
business in Sedalis.
We could also cross oceans of time. We could go into the future. Maybe help Sedalis out with the box, because we know what's in it.
Oh my God!
And create the calamity that destroyed their place.
Exactly.
I see them more coming to Sedalis.
That's why Carrie hates that time travel shit. But we're all in one world. We're in the world of Philbar. So
I'd totally dig if the two campaigns met and they came to help us with the box.
Well, we're pretty sure Mortimer was probably around. So,
where?
Future and past.
We never sensed him in Sedalis.
Did
we? Wait, did we? I don't know.
You met somebody.
You met a lot of people in Sedalis.
I remember I also didn't play the first half of the campaign. Did Mortimer ever come up in the... I know the Grand Academy was a thing. And I know that's where the rest of the party came from. I don't know if they ever saw... He was never named. Never named. Okay. I didn't think so, but the early part of the campaign, I don't really have a lot of knowledge of.
It
But
was a shit show.
I guess that's what it's like. It's probably worth watching.
Zadar Camille interacted with Dewey's great grandfather, I guess, or grandfather.
I loved the. Yeah, I always think I was the one character who didn't have an ancestor in there. Then again, she was like 100 years old, so she probably was a baby at the point when you guys were running around.
Well, they met Ernie's aunt.
Yep.
Who raised
Wait,
so.
yeah, they saw Ernie, didn't they?
Yep.
They actually the mistress of the manor. We saw that.
Yep.
Yeah. What was the name of the manor again? Dewey almost married her, or whatever.
Fuck yeah! What the hell was the name of the manor?
I wasn't in that Morningstar Manor. That's the problem with writing.
No, it's not
things.
Morning. Yeah. No, it's not Morningstar. I don't remember the name.
Torgal Manor.
Torgal Manor. That's right. Oh, you guys get to see it too?
They got to see it.
We met Lord Torgal, so he didn't like us very much.
He was just laying the groundwork for the manor itself.
I'm glad things don't change. I don't think Lady Torgal liked our party either that much.
Yeah, they saw the gap before the bridge was there, before Ernie ended up burning it down.
Before he blew up the bridge. Wow. And now nobody from the south can get north.
Nope. Folks,
stupid thing.
BTR, that's what we're good for. We can take a subject and just run with it and talk all night if we had to. But, this is campaign lifespan. Some short ones are just as good as the long ones, and some that were never planned.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
Folks, follow us on Twitter at mhoboinc. Email us at mhoboinc@gmail.com if you want to play, especially this Saturday. Again, the game's still up in the air. If you want to join our Discord, tinyurl.com/mhoboinc Discord. Check it out. Carol will say yay or nay. Nay if you're an asshole. And
that's right.
If you want to buy our crap, the link is down there. If you want new Math Rocks, at Pirate Dog Dice on Twitter is where you go. If you want the game to smell a whole lot better, Adventure Sense at oddfishgames.com, along with how to RPG with your cat, how to cook with your dice, the Shine system to write gooder than me, and the Radiance engine is in Kickstarter mode. So check them out at oddfishgames.com. Pillars of Jocularity episode Uno, not 0, we had that, Uno, this Thursday. Saturday, maybe a one-shot, and Margoo, the family show, on Sunday. Folks, for all of us here at Murder Hobo Inc., thanks for joining us. Let's give them a big old kiss and wave, and I'll shut us down. Mwah. Bye,
Love
everybody.
You.